But doctor, we have to mention here that during the past year, we have witnessed very weird scene concerning the media issue, very bizarre channels which have broadcast very inconvenient issues and stuff. How do you see this, and how can we keep a good standard channels and media, and at the same time keep the freedom of expression?
Well, we need to have a code of ethics for
should the new
media.
constitution state this?
It can state that we try to abide by a code of ethics, but again, one of the items in the 2012 constitution was saying freedom so long as it does not violate national security, for instance. What is national security? We need to define this, because again, when we talk about access to information and so on, this
and the code of ethics should include all the media fields, TV channels, internet, radio. What channels should be following these code of ethics if they were applied according to the constitution?
Newspapers and TV channels would apply this code of ethics, but when you talk about the internet,
it's so broad.
I mean, you have personal blogs and so on. It's this does not fall under the media code of ethics. You can find a person who's not a media professional and they start their own blog. And again, here when people call for restricting access, this is restricting freedom. So the point is, if we want to restrict media so much, there is today in this global world, access is pretty easy for anyone who's seeking information. So what we want to do is everyone is knowing it. Exactly. What's in this case, what I think what we're looking for is gaining credibility, making sure that the viewer is wants to watch these channels and would feel that they would receive the information that they need more. Otherwise, yes, they would be seeking other sources. Why would anyone want to seek other sources if the information is readily available for them?
As you have mentioned, Dr. Dina, now we are seeking a certain code of ethics for the media. On the other side, now we are having a very critical time in the Egyptian history. We are fighting terrorism. We are facing many challenges. How can we keep both? The freedom of expression, and at the same time we are protecting the national security. We don't want any channel who is threatening national security or inciting violence. How can we keep both, taking into consideration that we are having also media, Western media and foreign media, which are kind of manipulating the scene here?
Well, it is a challenging time. Yes, there are some media sources that may, as you've said, be calling for violence and so on, and others who are simply expressing an opinion. What needs to be done is first abiding by the law and not violating any legislation, or because if we first at this critical moment, Egypt is kind of under a microscope and appearing as restricting freedoms, and especially with reporters and so on, if they're international reporters or any other channels, this is not something that we want to show the world right now. Egyptians express themselves on the streets and have done so several times throughout the past 3 years, and we need to apply the law when we want to address any of these issues, while at the same time bringing forth to the viewer the information to help them assess or have access to this information to be able to form an opinion.
Doctor, yesterday we have witnessed a press conference which was held by the spokesperson of the 50-member Constitutional Committee, Mr. Salmawi, with the foreign media representatives in Egypt. How do you see this move by the spokesperson or the 50-member Constitutional Committee? Do you believe that we should be very transparent and show to the world what's going on, and that we are moving forward with our roadmap? How do you see this?
Definitely, we need to show the world all the steps we are taking. That we have a clear roadmap and where we're at, not just to the world. We want to show Egyptians where we're at.
No, I mean because it was the press conference was for foreign reporters and foreign media personnel in Egypt.
Yes, definitely. Because with the turn of events in Egypt, everyone is interested in what is going on in this area.
We are under spotlight.
Exactly.
Doctor, the decision to ban Al Jazeera and a number of other channels raised a debate concerning the media code of conduct and the freedom of expression. How do you see this debate regarding the closure of certain channels, which were, according to the reason of their closure, certain channels like Al Jazeera Mubashir did not have actually licenses to work in Egypt, and the others were inciting violence and having other problems?
Well, this is a critical issue, as I said. It needs to be handled with care, abiding by the laws, because you see, you have several groups here that might of interest. One is if we do not abide laws for a channel that might have some violations, then in other cases the same might apply to a channel or to a reporter or a newspaper writer, simply because their opinion or the program that they are broadcasting is not in line with whoever is in power at that time. So that's why if we put a precedent, then it can easily be followed. It is not about Al Jazeera for Al Jazeera in itself, but it is about.
But we are talking here about Al Jazeera Mubashir,
about the principle. Principle. We are talking about how we are setting
rules.
Our rules, not about Al Jazeera.
Doctor, but we have to ask here that certain Western channels and even the Al Jazeera and other channels, do you believe that they were to a certain extent politicized? They had certain agendas behind their coverage, or they were objective? How do you evaluate the performance of the Western media and foreign media, not only Western, during the past period concerning the events in Egypt?
Well, for one, you cannot lump some Western media into one block. They are different, and each one has its own agenda. We have to keep this in consideration. But
here, I mean, do you believe that they have certain preset ideas about the coverage of the events, or how do you evaluate the performance?
No, I've actually seen, especially recently, a lot of articles or programs which sort of bring in both sides of the debate. And I think even if some were not accepting the recent events in Egypt, this is for our own good. We will come out with an even better outcome in the end, because when you're on the spotlight, you perform even better. So it's not.
Doctor, how do you evaluate also the performance of the Egyptian media, both the private and the public television, concerning the recent events taking place in Egypt? I have to mention also that many channels were not very objective. The code of media has changed. The presenter is not anymore very objective. They also tend to say their opinion. How do you evaluate this? And do you believe that during the time of wars and the critical time in the history of the country, the code of conduct and the freedom of expression should differ?
Well, this is something that's very important. We have to watch As several media presenters have, as you said, they have broken the code of ethics and started to express their own opinions, and sometimes very biased opinions. Whether we like this opinion or we're opposed to it, this should not be the method in presenting ourselves. Some tend to forget all that they have learned in the past, simply being very with all what's going on. But we have to remember one thing. I'll tell you, like during the January 25th revolution, because a lot of the media was biased at that time. Some did not even show it, or some showed it as a simple thing. What happened was that the viewer wants to see the facts, so they turned to channels like Al Jazeera, for instance, to see what was on the streets. The viewer has, you can think of like a mature mind, and can sense when they need to find other sources of information. So in the end, we have to keep this in mind. If there's any bias in the media presented, we lose our credibility, we lose our viewership.
Doctor, how effective is the media now in turning the course of events? Do you believe that the media is that influential to the extent that they could change the course of events in the country?
Definitely. Media is, as they say, the third power. Of course, media is very important. It is something that has access to people's homes every day, and captures their attention, of course, easily.
Dr. Dina Wafa, the Director and Executive Education at the American University in Cairo, it was a pleasure to have you with us on Nile TV.
Thank you.
Thank you, Doctor. And that, our dear viewers, brings us to the end of this edition of Women's World. Hope you have enjoyed it. Until we meet again next Monday, I'm Mahisti Rabia. Many thanks for watching.